The White House is one of the most protected buildings in the world, which serves as the President of the United States' official residence. This building has all kinds of security features, while the United States Secret Service is the main organization that provides the top security for the president. So in this video, we are going to be revealing to you what makes the White House more secured more than any other building in the world. Welcome to Highest Luxury, the home of the billionaires. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to like and subscribe, and I know you can do that in less than 5 seconds. Thanks for doing that for me. Alright, let's get started. The President of the United States, his family, and the White House are protected and monitored by full-time security, but this has not always been the case. From the White House's earliest residents to today, security at the White House has changed dramatically. Although the first protective fence was built around the White House in 1801, after the U.S. Secret Service failed to provide full-time protection for the president until 1901, ever since then, living in the White House can create a difficult environment because the president's work and private life are publicly visible, and top security officials must ensure that the first family of the United States feels safe in their home. The history of this outstanding building started in 1801, when President Thomas Jefferson initiated the earliest security measures at the White House. After ordering the U.S. Secret Service to build a fence around the White House, the fence established a security perimeter that makes the building a danger zone to any terrorist. There are security officers posted outside the White House gates, as well as at its entrance, and more fence and iron gates were added to the White House to enhance its protection. The security guards were also brought in to replace the militia, and their only goal was to keep the president and the White House safe. During the Civil War, White House security concerns increased as Confederate forces were stationed all around the White House. During the early weeks of the war, the White House was the target to attacks, and despite being aware of the White House's precarious state, it was very impossible for the enemies to penetrate, and throughout the war, the White House were still manned by Union soldiers, who restricted all the attack being launched on the White House and the president. White House security has continued to increase since World War II. Amidst the threat of the use of nuclear weapons during the Cold War, the government purchased a helicopter to provide the president with a quick escape route from the White House in case of emergency. Since then, the president has increasingly used special helicopters to travel quickly around the cities of U.S. But that is not all. As you would expect, there are a whole lot of security and their police dogs fully ready to descend on any attack or any danger that draws close to the presidential lodge. And with that kind of protection, it is preferable to be alert of every single attack, as the U.S. Secret Service and some intelligent officers are ready to take down any threat that comes close to the White House. Meanwhile, the White House has been declared a no-flight zone, meaning that no flight is permitted to fly around the White House. All the interior and everything that concerns this building is originally made to withstand any bullet or bombs that might be launched by any political enemies. There are cameras manned all around the premises, which dictate when there is danger. There is no flying in Washington, D.C. A warning is sent to any aircraft that is not planned or that does not enter Ronald Reagan National Airport via the authorized path. And if they don't comply right away, one of the innumerable surface-to-air missiles positioned all over the Capitol will destroy them. The White House does have those advanced laser systems that can detect any potential threat from a mile away and alert other missile systems to take down the threat. But the idea that there is an Avenger missile system at the top of the building, which is more of an urban legend missile. It is known that numerous missile batteries are located in Washington, D.C., making it so hard for any threat to come the president and his family. In January 2015, a federal employee who wishes to remain anonymous was enjoying some fun with his drone outside of the White House. Though the man does not mean any harm, the drone passed through the detection systems quite easily, but when it struck the ground, it triggered a plethora of alarms that sent every agent into a frenzy. Because the man worked for the White House and the incident exposed a serious security flaw in the systems at the time, even though the man was not prosecuted. Since then, the White House has employed drones of their own to act as both roving security cameras and to take down any other drones that come into the area. And with all of these security measures in place, the most obvious one is actually the most effective, historic, and iconic, the fence that surrounds the White House, first erected in 1801 by President Thomas Jefferson, it has seen many changes over its lifetime. What was once a simple barricade to keep the president's livestock on the property has now become an 11-foot tall. Not only is the newest fence crowned with dogs and spikes to deter attempts at climbing, it also alerts agents the moment anyone puts pressure on it to ensure nobody makes it over or even climb the fence. The White House has seen numerous security lapses in the last years, with intruders scaling the perimeter barrier. The president and his family's private quarters had a glass that was broken 3 years ago when a guy drove up on Constitution Avenue and fired bullet from his vehicle, and since then corrective action has been required to ensure the safety of the first family. And in addition to the numerous ugly obstacles on the south side of the White House, the recent incidents of intrusion into the White House complex have involved both a fence, which, at 7 feet 6 inches, is possible to scale, and compromised operations in detection and apprehending intruders. Certainly, it is very difficult to prevent a determined trespasser from jumping a fence, but the kind of no-climb fences that can actually prevent it are hard to imagine ringing the White House grounds. No private cars is allowed within 1 block of the White House. In terms of the fences, it will be invisible to the public on the sidewalk, but being flexible, it will be next to impossible to climb over. There are security men whose main goal is to slow anyone trying to enter the White House down and to funnel those who try to avoid the fences into areas where there are more Secret Service or White House guards. Those presidential guards make sure the presidential lodge is well protected. And here comes the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe to the channel for more videos update. Thanks and see you next time.